So hello, everyone. I hope you're having an amazing Lionsgate. I feel like the energies have been off the charts. I am just like so excited to be here with all of you. And there is so much magic that wants to come through. And so I know that, this is actually this was originally a bonus call for the people who signed up for the 3-day sacred writing challenge. But I really felt called to open this to actually like my whole community. So there might be some of you here who like you didn't, participate in the 3-day challenge. But don't worry, like this day really stands alone. And there's just like so much magic here. So I'm just really, really excited. If you want to put in the chat, where you're from, but also how your Lionsgate is going. I'm just really curious because I feel like for me, this has been one of the biggest Lionsgates. Like I have just felt so much brewing in my heart over the last couple days. And so I'm actually going to I really want to just kind of check in with all of you and just see how the energies are playing out for you. But first, I just want to say part of what led me to do this. It was one of those things where it was I feel like a beautiful divine play. And so I, on the first day of the Sacred Writing Challenge, didn't know the right way to put my Zoom link into the email. So almost no one got in. And the people who did get in, they literally typed in the URL, like little by little. And that was just so heartwarming for me that some people cared enough that they would do that. And so I was like, universe, why did this happen? And the second I, asked that question, it came in. It's because you're supposed to do this bonus call and it's supposed to be on the Lionsgate. And I was like, okay. And so when spirit does something like that, I know that the universe is setting me up for something really beautiful to come through. And I knew that it really wasn't, it's not for me, it's for all of you. And so the energies we're really going to work with. Oh, I have someone coming from Sweden. Oh, I'm so excited. I love that we are really bringing in the Lionsgate energy from all over the world. I'm just so excited to be here in this space with all of you. And so I just feel like one of the things I really wanted to share, just kind of about this Lionsgate energy. For me, it's very powerful. I'm a Leo. For those of you who don't know, my birthday is in 2 days. So whenever I go into the Lionsgate portal, it's really exciting for me. Really exciting. And that's why I feel like so spirit set up, I call it a divine play to facilitate this day for all of you. And so when I really tapped into the theme, what wanted to come through, it was of course, it was so funny. I was like, this was like a divine play. And I realized, well, what do we want to explore today? And the first energy that came through was the energy of play. And so for a lot of us, whether we are writers or creators, the energy of play is something that is so powerful for all of us, because when we lose touch with that part of us that just finds delight and joy in life, it's almost like life kind of dries up a little bit and we lose the magic. So I really feel like part of what we want to cultivate on this really sacred day is bringing this energy of play into our lives. And the Egyptian goddess Bast, who, if you don't know much about Bast, we're going to learn about her in a little bit. She really stepped forward wanting to bring this through for all of you, because my sense is that all of you have something so magnificent and so beautiful to bring to the world. And for you to really harness that beauty and make it come to fruition, you want to be in that really luscious energy of just pure play and delight and fun. And so that is the magic of the goddess Bast. And I think of it as, it's funny, it's an ancient wisdom. We think of play as, it's almost so funny. We think of it as something, oh, like little kids, they know how to play. But really, it's this is the truest wisdom of the soul. And this is also one of the great energies of the lion. And so, there are many people, when they think of the lion, they think of that energy of the fierce protectress, the mother. And I really love that energy, that fierce love. I definitely feel that. But I also think that one of the lesser known and lesser celebrated aspects of the cat is that element of play, that cat that's on its back purring. And so really that's part of what I wanted to help us cultivate for the year ahead, because I'm sure everyone in this community, I'm sure you're very familiar with the astrological significance of the Lionsgate. But if you're not, let me just kind of go back in time to ancient Egypt. And so this was the day that the Great Pyramids, they would line up, with the star Sirius, and the Nile would flood. And the Nile would flood, bringing life to all of the crops, to all of the lands. And so really this was a great day. This was really seen as the new year. And
Recording in progress.
oh, hold on. Sorry, I'm not sure what happened there. But so this is, just, oh, I have someone in here writing about Bast. Hold on, I'm just going to check this because I get so excited. Katerina, you always invoke Bast because you are a cat mom. I understand. Today is International Cat Day. I love that. Oh, is it really? Oh, I did not know that. No, but so really she wanted to come through. But so we're going to be exploring the energy of play, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Bast shortly. But there is another goddess. This was the goddess that really made her presence known to me, and this is the goddess Hathor. So she's a little bit more famous. Many of you may be familiar with Hathor, and she is a sky goddess, but she's also a goddess of creativity, sacred sound. Really, so for me, as someone who really loves to do writing and loves to work with creativity, Hathor is an amazing goddess to call upon, and she will open and activate your throat chakra like no other. But she also really is this great goddess of the cosmos, great goddess of the stars. And she really wanted to come through because part of my message for you, I think when we look at the stars, think of all the times when we were like little kids that we would hear songs like When You Wish Upon a Star, or even like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Like from the time we were little kids, we were looking up at the stars with wonder and awe, and wondering like, what is the magic in these like timeless heavens? Like trying to tap into that. And I find that no matter how much like life gets us down, the one thing like that can never be taken for us is the mystery and the wonder of the stars. And that is because the ancients knew that the stars were our great teachers. They had great wisdom and also great power, when we work with them consciously. And so one thing I wanted to say, so we're going to be doing like 2 activations, just giving you a little bit of the layout of the day, 2 activations. And I invite you, I have a candle that we're going to light in a second, but I also have some water. And the reason I have the water, I want to explain because I really felt called to make this like a very high magic ritual. And I wanted to bring in all the elements. So let me just say, so with Bast, we're going to be working with the energy of play. But with Hathor, we're really going to be calling upon your powers as a creator, what you are calling into creation in the rest of 2023 and beyond, and really like locking in that creator frequency. And Hathor is really, really here to open you up just to the beauty, to the awe, to the wonder of being alive. And so I'm just so excited for what wants to come through. But really what I got from Hathor is that she wanted to open us even more deeply to magic. And so I was really kind of taken with this idea of really bringing elemental magic into this space. So of course, like I said, I have a candle, and if you don't have a candle, don't worry. What I'm doing will also count for everyone in the group. It will be holding it for everyone as well. But the water is really important because we're going to be working with the stars. It's going to be really powerful. But the thing though is a lot of times people throughout history, they would, pray to the stars, and then they would not have their prayers answered. And they'd be like, no one is listening in the heavens. This doesn't work. And so the thing is, you need to bring heaven down to earth. And so the intention with the water, so if you have this, it's great, but if not, it's okay. I have the water for us. It's like all of the sacred activation that we do in today's call. I'm at the end going to put the water, I'm going to bring it back to the earth. And that will really be bringing our sacred intentions, bringing all that we are wishing for, all that we are creating together, bringing that to the earth so that it can come to fruition. So that's just something I want to say. If you're ever really like wanting to, create something and manifest it, you want to call, to all the forces that be, but also find a way to bring your prayers to the earth. That could literally be praying directly to the earth, talking to the earth, but know that that is part of the pure creation magic. And I'm seeing in the chat, there's a birthday. Hold on. Whose birthday is this? Let's see. I'm trying to scroll up. I got so excited. Oh, I'm not trying to say your name, Bo. Is it you're okay? So Bo, you are an 8/8. You are an official Lionsgate baby. Oh my God. Congratulations. Happy birthday. Oh my God. I love all my Leos. Yes, I love all the Leos. So I want to go into the call in a minute. But I first, I know we're just getting started, but I wanted to also just kind of start this call by making a note that what is going on? Sorry, I'm trying to focus, but there's so much like blowing up in the chat. It's like someone else, it's like your mother's birthday. Happy birthday to her as well. So yes, this is like anyone born in this Lionsgate portal, like it's like a powerhouse of energy. And so I'm just really, and again, like this is a day all about creation. So I just want to, I'm going to stop looking at the chat because I feel like I get distracted. I'm so excited to connect with all of you. But I wanted to also make sure that I'm bringing awareness, not just the Lionsgate, but something very special happening for this particular Lionsgate, and that is the Venus retrograde. So I'm just wondering, so Venus, really is governing, beauty, money, love, relationships, creativity. Like that's usually the way I connect with Venus. So I'm just wondering, I'm actually going to have like a quick, like 2-minute writing prompt for everyone. Hold on, my wonderful assistant is going to pull up the slides for us. I just want to give you guys like 2 minutes to write. And this 2 minutes is literally just going to be, how is this Venus retrograde, like Lionsgate combination? How is it feeling for all of you? Because for me, the last 2 days have been so intense leading up into Lionsgate, and I knew that it was the energy of Venus. So I just want to open with this. So I'm just going to say this is going to be like 2 minutes of writing, or if you don't have a notebook, you can kind of just sit there and think about it. I promise this is not a lot of writing. But so here, Venus and Leo. So Venus and retrograde and the Lionsgate are converging this year. So this powerful combination brings up a lot of unresolved emotions and old stuff for people. So Venus rules creativity, beauty, love, and abundance, while the Lionsgate is a time of galactic transformation. So I'm just curious, like these are very different energies. What's this bringing up for you? What themes have emerged over the last couple of weeks? And I'm just going to give you 2 minutes. This isn't super long, to just kind of sit with this question. What has been brewing? What has been coming up for you? So I'm going to go silent for 2 minutes and I'm going to call you back. Okay, so I think we're at 2 minutes. If you're still writing, you can keep going, but I want to close the slides for a second and come back together as a group. This is the moment where I invite everyone to share. If you want to share, you can. If not, it's okay. But if anyone wants to raise your hands and share with the group, or if you want to just put it in the chat. But I am just really excited to kind of experience how these energies are working with everyone. Because like I said, for me, the last few days have been super intense. And I've just been really excited because sometimes when you're going through it, it's not fun. But then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, this old ancient thing is coming up to be cleared. And it's a moment where it really gets to be very exciting. Because I really feel like what I'm really receiving with the Lionsgate, especially with our, beautiful support from Venus, is that when we go through the other side of the Lionsgate, this is a moment that the wounds, all those more Venusian wounds, they are really coming up to really be fully healed and cleared. And so by the end of the Lionsgate, we will be fully releasing them. So I just think that's very, just really, really beautiful. So I'm just curious, before we move on, does anyone want to just share? Because I love that inner reflection So let's see, is there anyone, if you don't want to share, it's okay. There's no pressure. I'm just like checking the chat here. If not, I will go on to the next. Okay, so I have someone here, Pamela. I'm sure you're in the middle of a time of intense transformation. I totally understand. Electric dreams, my muses have been hyperactive and I'm physically full of kinetic energy. I totally understand. It's like, I totally understand. And I love that you're saying it's intense transformation. Yes, that's what I've been feeling too. And it's almost like, I feel like for me, it's almost like my guides are like, this is it. And they're turning up the heat. And I feel like they're turning up the heat because there's so much magnificence that we're being called to step into. And I really just want to go back to like the theme of today, but the title for today is Writing with the Stars. And so the stars are these great wisdom keepers. And one of the things they really teach us is to step into our magnificence and step into our radiance. And sometimes we have to go through intense transformation to come out the other side and be fully in our radiance. Let me just see anything else in the chat before we move on. Okay, so someone wrote lots of like kind of more like physical symptoms. Yeah, I think that's definitely, body strength and like self-healing ability. Okay, beautiful. Someone wrote, so I can be my grand self. Yes, that's part of like, okay, so that is the energy of Leo. For those of you who do not know, Leo is all about being larger than life, for you fully stepping into like the greatness, the bigness of you. And, I think that that is something really, really special and really sacred. And I want to honor, like, so this is something I'm going to be asking throughout the call, but it's just something to start with today to get it kind of percolating in the back of your brain. What does the most like limitless, greatest version of you look like? Not like something that you think of with your mind, but when you feel with your heart. Who is this version of you that is limitless? Someone wrote there, in the chat, to come into the grandest version, because that is a very Leo invitation. Leo invites you to come into your greatness. And greatness looks different for a lot of people. But I know that there is a greatness that is specific to you and you alone. And everyone has a divine destiny, a divine blueprint for your specific greatness. And on sacred, beautiful days like this, we get to open fully to our greatness. And we just get to, I feel like, connect on a really, really deep level with what our soul is called to be in this lifetime. And so, Bo, you are writing here, the most grand version of yourself does not filter myself with the thoughts of judgment from others. I totally understand. Oh my God, no, I understand. So for me, like, I can just say that, a couple of days ago, I got like comments from people from my my sacred writing challenge, and someone wrote to me back saying I was so intense, and it wasn't like a good thing. It was like, you're really, really intense. And actually, that was like a lifelong, it was weird that that came to me because I was like triggered and upset. And for me, that was actually a lifelong wound that I've had, that when I was younger, I was told that my energy was too big, that I was too intense. And so I learned, especially as a Leo, I learned to dim that light. And so that's the whole thing, is that here today, I'm trying to use that now as fuel to show up unapologetically, with all of you in my full truth, in my full intensity, to give you all permission to be and do the same, to show up in your bigness. And especially when we're looking at the Egyptian gods and goddesses, they did not play small. That was not in their vocabulary. And so really part of, one of my great messages in everything that I do, but also especially here in this space, is really activating like your understanding of yourself as divine. And I know a lot of us in the spiritual community, like, we know that we are divine, but we kind of know it with the minds. And here, this Lionsgate is the opportunity for us to have a full-bodied knowing of this on all levels of our being. And once we step into that experience of ourselves as divine, that's when we step into being limitless. And that's when we step into the grandest version of ourselves. But I want to kind of shift into like our first activation, because I feel like I could just keep talking. But so our first activation is really, really with the goddess Bast, and we're going to be working with the energy of play. I have some slides for Bast, but before we do that, I want to share a quick story. So my quick story is actually kind of like getting to know me a little bit better. And so it's funny. So I think it was like 10 years ago, I'm still very interested in like natural medicine, but this is when I was first kind of learning all about like holistic medicine. And my physical body was like sick, and it was nothing that conventional Western doctors like understood. They're like, you're totally fine. I was like, no, I'm not. I could tell, like, I was not fine. And there's all this stuff that the regular doctors weren't able to like pick up on. So I went to this like, naturopathic doctor, and he did this kind of cool thing called, I'm sure some of you here are familiar with muscle testing. And so basically what that is like you'll hold on to like a supplement or something that like, you'll find out if it's good for you or not. And so the way that muscle testing works is you have to hold your arm out like really straight. And if something is good for you, like when the practitioner goes to push your arm down, it won't go. But if it's like bad for you, like say you picked up like a sack of sugar, your arm would go like down like that. And so it's this kind of really intuitive way that like the body has like the wisdom of what we need. And so it's funny. So this is my first time ever being exposed to muscle testing. Again, it was like 10 years ago. And so the naturopath was trying to say like, well, let me kind of just demonstrate like how this works. So he's like, say something that you know to be true. And so the way that like I actually identified myself when I met this guy, the name I gave him was Liz. And I took that name because when I was in college, I was in a creative writing class, and there were two Elizabeths in the classroom. And my teacher said, I don't want to have two Elizabeths in the classroom. I want one of you to have a nickname. And in that moment, she said, can one of you be Liz? And I had never gone by Liz before this moment, but I like this teacher, and I wanted her to like me. And so I said, oh, it's okay, I'll do it. And so in that moment, it was such a funny thing. I gave away the previous identity that I'd held as Elizabeth for my first like 18, 19 years of my life. And suddenly, like in that class, because I was called Liz, suddenly everyone was calling me that. And it seems like a small thing, but for those of you who are kind of more familiar with fairy tales, there's something to be said for like the true name. And so anyway, I identified myself, it's almost like I stopped remembering that I ever went by anything but Liz, because there is a certain time where like that's just how I started to introduce myself to make it easier for people. And I remember I was with this naturopath, and I held out my arm, and he said, okay, just say my name is Liz. And I did that, and all of a sudden he pushed my arm all the way down, and he was like puzzled, and he looked at me, he says, I've never had this happen before. It's like your body doesn't recognize that that's your name. And he was like, do you have another name that you go by? And I said, oh, yeah, oh, yes. For most of my life, I went by Elizabeth. And so, I said, my name is Elizabeth. And he, it was harder for him to push my arm down, but he was able to. And so now the guy is so confused. He's like, what? Like, he's like, never had this happen before. And he's looking at me like, is there some other name you go by? And in that moment, it's so funny. It's like a voice spoke. And this is before I was like, my psychic gifts were really online for me. This voice spoke, and it said Lizzie. And this was the name that I went by as a little girl. And it's so funny because it was a name that like I hadn't thought of Lizzie in like, I can't even tell you, like it was probably like when I was 2 or 3 years old, I used to go by this name. And just kind of in that moment, really leaning into my innate wisdom, I said it, and he said, okay, let's try this. And I said, my name is Lizzie, and he couldn't move my arm. It was like this powerful magic moment, because on the deepest level of my being, that's the name that my soul knew. And so I say this because I'm revealing kind of like my true name, but I realized that in that moment, my true nature really was one of lightness and joy and play. And that somehow I had left that behind and forgotten it. If someone asked, can we do muscle testing on ourselves? Yes, you can. It's not as easy. Like you can, it's like a little harder. But you don't actually have to go to like a naturopath. It's like, you can do it by yourself, a little bit trickier, but like also if you have a friend, they can also help you do it. But so it was just really interesting, because that was a moment that I was just blown away by the power of this version of me that like literally was locked away for like 20, like, almost like 18 years at that point. I'd locked her away. And there she was inside waiting to come out. And it made me realize that all of us have that part of us inside of us, that part that just knows joy and play and is waiting to be remembered, is waiting to be activated. So I kind of wanted to share that story before we go into working with Bast, because I just feel like everyone here, I just think that people, like everyone has a big destiny. Everyone has like a purpose that you wouldn't be here if you didn't have a big, a beautiful destiny placed upon you. But yet it's how we go through our lives, how we experience them on a day-to-day basis. And that's part of why I feel like when we consciously choose to tap into the energy of play, that's when we just have magic every day of our lives, not just on the days that we fulfill our destiny. So I would love to, I wanted to show you just a little bit about Bast. Can my assistant get the slides? This is very short, like I think there's only really one slide about her because I don't want this call to be too long for everyone. So Bast, so you can see her here. She's the cat goddess and she has these beautiful cat ears. So Bast is the Egyptian cat goddess of sensuality and play. She's also connected to magic and fertility. And so I'm sure many of you are aware of this, but cats were sacred to the ancient Egyptians and were thought to be especially magical. They are often believed to be guardians to the other world. So I just wanted to share that with you. And so that's actually the only slide for right now, because I'm going to lead you in a beautiful activation with the Goddess Bast. But before we do that, if anyone could just put in the chat, it'd be great. Like if you're familiar with her or not. And if not, it's all good. I see one of the people here, Anaya. I know you actually went to Egypt this year. So I'm sure I'm sure that you are very familiar with Bast. Oh, I love how everyone in the chat is asking about muscle testing. Oh, this is amazing. Yes. Oh, Claudine, you also know Bast well. Yes, I just love this. Okay. Okay, before we call her in, okay, I'm just going to get my candle. And if you don't have a candle, it's all good. Like I said, I'm really lighting this. It's like for everyone who's here and everyone watching the replay. And so here in this space, we are really calling in a blessing for this sacred Lionsgate portal, calling in the energies of play, magic, enchantment. We're really calling in the power of creativity for everyone here, that all of their creations be blessed this year, blessed by the great goddess Hathor, blessed by the great goddess Bast, blessed by the magic of Leo in this sacred Venus retrograde, really calling in the power of this day and also calling in massive transformation for everyone here. They may step into the truest version of themselves, the most limitless, the grandest version of themselves. And really, I invite you to hold the feeling of that grandest version of you, hold that in your heart and just like fully open for a moment to what it would feel like to embody him or her, that great version of you. And we're pouring these intentions into this candle. And this is the beginning of our magic, because here we have the beauty, we have the magic of fire. So I'm just gonna like this. Okay. Let's be with us. Okay. I'm actually gonna like cast our circle. So usually, it's funny because we're doing like kind of two different magical rituals. Oh, I see everyone with their candles. Yes, I love all the candles. But I want to make sure that we're calling all the gods and goddesses into this space, really just because like, I don't want us to have to open like multiple circles. But so now I'm just going to cast a sacred circle. For those of you who are, familiar with me, I love to do this. If you are new, don't worry. It's just a moment for us to really anchor the energies. And also it's a chance for you to also call in your own highest level guides and team, anyone that you really want to bring into the sacred space. Okay, so I cast this circle to create a space beyond space and time beyond time. I cast this circle to block out all energies and spirits that are not allies of ours. I cast this circle that all energies raised herein remain confined. As above, so below, as within, so without, the circle is sealed. Beautiful. And into this sacred space, I call the elements. earth, air, fire, water, metal, ether, and starlight. I'm also calling in the directions, north, south, east, west, above, below, and within. And I'm calling in the great goddess Bast, goddess of play. I'm calling in the great goddess Hathor, who we will spend more time with later. Goddess of sacred sound, goddess of creativity, be with us in this space. I also call in Hathor's consort Ra. And I'm calling in the star Sirius, also calling in the great majesty of the planet Venus, the goddess Venus, and all of the planets. All of the planets. We're really going to be doing planetary magic in this space. So I'm calling in, try to get them all: Mercury, Saturn, Jupiter, Neptune. I think we have Uranus, Pluto. Hopefully I didn't leave any of them out. If I did, calling in all of the planets in our Milky Way, our Milky Way galaxy, calling them in. And I invite you all to just take a moment to call in your favorite stars, the stars that you like to connect with. And I really also kind of feel guided to bring in that kind of magic of like when you wish upon a star. And this is a day, like this Lionsgate is such a powerful day for manifestation. So really just know that this is, if ever there was a day where you could wish upon a star and have your dream come true, this is that day. So I'm really just like calling these beautiful beings into the sacred space. And I also invite you to call in your highest level guides and team, whoever you feel called to invite in. And now we're going to get started with our beautiful activation with the Goddess Bast. So just take a couple deep breaths. And I invite you to feel yourself moving through time and space to an ancient Egyptian temple. Ancient Egypt is a place of whispers, whispers of the past, whispers of the sacredness of these lands. And here, really anchor yourself, find yourself in this ancient sacred temple. In this place, you see there is a beautiful pool that shimmers in the morning light with beautiful iridescence. This temple is made of pure gold. And beyond the pool is an altar. You walk up to the altar. You walk up the golden steps. And as soon as you arrive at the top of the altar, there is a beautiful swirl of gold and white light, and a great goddess appears, a beautiful, magical goddess with cat-like ears and eyes. Beholding her is almost like looking straight in the sun. All of a sudden, you feel the energies of joy and jubilation move through you. This is the Goddess Bast. She welcomes you into this space. See her eyes lit up and shimmering. Really take in her presence. See her there, her body lithe like a cat. She takes you by the hand and leads you through the maze of sacred rooms in this labyrinth-like temple. And as you move through the temple with Bast as your guide, open your heart and soul to the magic and the mystery. For you know that with every step you take, Bast is here to attune you, to activate you in the frequencies of play. Open your heart to fully open to receive Bast in this moment. Bast takes you to a room full of mirrors. She moves one of the mirrors just so, and all of a sudden the light ricochets from one mirror to the next, and the room is full of incredible resplendence. In this moment, Bast raises her hands, and golden white light pours from her hands to your heart. This is the energy of play. Feel this beautiful golden white light circling all around you. We're really calling in the magic, the mystery of Bast in this sacred space. Remember in your heart what it felt like to play as a young kid. Remember what it felt like growing up. Remember what it felt like, because in your heart of hearts, on the deepest level of your being, you know this energy of play. It is part of you, one with you. It has been since the day you were born. And really just feel this cat energy, this lion energy. There's almost this energy of like a purr. This is the energy of pure play and delight. This is the energy of a kitten that grabs you in its arms and wraps its paws around your thumb. So in this moment, I invite you to really open to all of the energies that bring you delight and ask yourself, what does play mean to you? As you're thinking that, the goddess Bast transforms into a small black cat, but she's still very regal and elegant. She is feminine and small, and she rolls around on the floor and then rubs against your calves and the bottoms of your legs. She invites you to pick her up and pet her. At this moment, really open to connecting with Bast in her animal form, knowing this sacred animal, that this is a moment of pure play as she rolls on her back and invites you to scratch her ears. All of this is part of the attunement, part of the magic of you being here on this sacred day. This is the oldest, most ancient experience of your soul, this energy of play. And you watch this beautiful cat move. And where she moves, there are splashes of sparkles and purple mist, like a purple haze moving after her, as if she were an embodiment of living magic. And this purple mist just followed her in her wake. And now Bast invites you to stare into her beautiful cat eyes. And as you look into her eyes, what color do you see? How do these eyes appear to you? Is there a slit of black down the center? See how alive these eyes are. In this cat's eyes, this is not the wisdom of the elders, nor the wisdom of the learned or the wise. This is the wisdom of play. And as you sit here in this moment with Bast, just feel your heart open even bigger. And just take a moment. Once more, Bast transforms from her cat-like self back into the goddess that you met mere moments ago. And I invite you to open to see if there are any messages that Bast has for you here in the space of ways that you can cultivate this energy of play in your daily life, not just on sacred, high holy days, but the way that you can know play in your world, in your life once again. Just take a moment to really open to see if there's anything that Bast wants to share with you. Beautiful. And now I invite you to take one last look at the goddess Bast. See her there before you. Look into her loving eyes, her glorious and loving eyes. And take a moment to thank her for the experiences you've had here today, for this attunement in the way of play. She smiles at you, and all of a sudden you feel yourself transported through time and space, outside of the temple, to the sand outside, to the Nile, beside a bed of desert flowers. And all of a sudden you're in this beautiful Egyptian oasis. Look up at the sky, look up at the stars, and really just take in this beautiful night sky. Receive the blessing as you look up. Receive the blessing of magic and miracles and wonder. When you open your heart, open fully to the frequency of wonder, awe, and enchantment. See the night through the eyes of enchantment. Have the eyes to see the world in this way, through the eyes of wonder. And we're really bringing this new way of seeing and being fully into our hearts, fully into our bodies, having magical eyes to see the world and experiencing all of it through the sacred energy of play. As you stand there looking up at the sky, you feel Bast's presence. You turn around and there she is once more. She raises her hands, and all the parts of you that were too serious, all the parts of you that were too grown up. Feel them melting away as another cascade of beautiful golden and purple light moves around you. And she is releasing all of the heaviness, all of the seriousness, all that was stopping you from fully being your most radiant, playful, magnificent self. Just feel all of that dissolving now. We call upon the great power of the Lionsgate to get all of that away, to start over for a fresh slate, to return to the way of innocence, the way of pure play and magic. You thank Bast once more for helping you. And together, you and she turn your eyes to the stars and take in the wonder of the heavens. And I invite you to take a couple deep breaths, really feeling into this experience of wonder and enchantment as you and Bast look up at the stars. Take another couple deep breaths, stare at the stars, and all of a sudden, you feel yourself transported back through time and space to the room where you first began today's journey. Know that Bast will be here with you in the ether as we continue our magical rituals. Now I invite you to just, come back to the space, come back to this room. And we're going to do some very, very quick writing exercises. I promise these are short ones today. So we're just going to get the slides. So here is this, I'm going to give you probably just 3 minutes, not too long. So get in touch with the eternal feeling of wonder that you felt when you look up at the stars. Just really write about this feeling of wonder. I want to help you open even more deeply to this experience. So actually, I'm only going to give you 2 minutes. So it's 1:42 my time. So in 2 minutes, I'm going to call you back. And just open. Let whatever wants to come through move through you. If you don't have something to write with, just go within and see what your soul brings to your attention. Okay, beautiful. And we're actually going to do another 2-minute writing exercise. Then we're going to come back and share. But so can we have the next slide? Beautiful. Okay. Because I really wanted you to be in that energy of wonder. And so now I would love just take I'm going to give you 3 minutes for this one. Write about the messages that Bast brought through for you. There's a typo here. How can you bring the energy of play more fully into your life? How can you bring play into your creative projects, into your relationships, and really start to connect with the world through the energy of play? So this is just a moment, really let Bast speak through you. And if you're a little bit stuck here, just go back, write about what it was like to connect with Bast. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes for this, and then we will come back. 1 minute warning, and then we're going to come back and share. Okay, can we stop the share, and can we go back to the regular Zoom? Beautiful. Okay. So this is the moment where I'm going to invite anyone who wants to share. You can, take yourself off mute and share. Or you can write in the chat. Again, like I always promise people that if they don't want to share, they don't have to. But I'm just inviting anyone who wants to talk about either the experience they had in the meditation, or like what you experienced when you were writing. Oh, and Naya, let me see. Oh my God. Looking at the stars, space, potential, possibilities, home. Yes, I think a lot of people really find, like, when they look at the stars, they feel that sense of home. I love that. That's beautiful. Also, Bo, you wrote playfulness. Oh, Christy, you raise your hand. Hold on. I'm going to bring you, on. Yes,
Hi.
please. Hi.
Thank you so much. It's just like, wow, what a powerful day. It's like uh, at the moment that we started, a PayPal came in with a friend contributing money to my GoFundMe. And and it was so endearing to get the sweet message of love and support and abundance from my greater community. And and then in the meditation, it was, so Venus is love and Lionsgate is activation. Loving being activated by love with love.
Oh, I
Just
love that.
love it.
That is
Thank
beautiful.
you. Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I think everyone you have like hearts. Like everyone is sending you hearts. That is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And I'm so glad, like you said, that like money came through for your is it a GoFundMe? I'm not sure what it is, but
Yeah, it's I posted it on Facebook because my house has to be painted, and that costs thousands of dollars, and it's been like, it's a wonderful life. It's like all my friends have been just sending 20 bucks, 50 bucks, 100 bucks,
I
and
love
I raised
that. I love that. Okay,
I've
so
raised about 3/4 of the money that I've needed to hire this painter to start painting. And he's a bit of a miracle because he went to a place where they donate paint. That's not that they didn't use in a house, and he found three of the large gallon or 5 gallon. I don't know what size it is, but it's of the exact color that I need to
that's
paint the
amazing.
whole house.
Oh
So
my God, that is amazing. Okay, so when we do the final activation, we're really going to be doing like sacred magic with Hathor. We're going to call in even more magic for this. I want you to have that beautiful painted house. Oh my God.
thank you. I know it's been incredible. It's just like such a joy to see, and I do a lot of sacred ceremonies too with the Magdalene priestess in the communities. And one of my friends, she emailed me and she says, "Oh, Christy, oh my God, you bring so much joy to the community doing sacred rituals and sacred ceremonies and stuff. There's no way they're going to let you lose your house because you're not in compliance with the management." So she said, "Don't worry, the community will help you." And it was like such an outpouring. It was such a fabulous demonstration of
Yes, that
people
sounds so beautiful.
just we all helping each other and supporting each other. It was just wonderful.
But yeah, no, thank you for sharing that, and also really for spreading that kind of message about joy. Like when you show up in your joy, like I feel like it just multiplies. Like miracles come back to you. So
Yeah.
thank you for that. I'm actually going to I got to answer the next person who's raised their hand, but
Sure.
Christy, it was so lovely to connect with you. So I'm going to pin, hold on, wait, let me unpin. Hold on. Too much technical stuff for me. Hold on one second.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Beautiful.
Oh, okay, great. So in the theme of connecting with the energy of play, which I have a Leo moon and Capricorn rising and Capricorn sun sign. So this Leo moon really is my heart of creativity. And so when I tune into that amazing energy of Leo, my heart fills with joy. I mean, it fills with joy, and it's really other people have mentioned the similar, but my heart fills with joy, and it's bubbling, giggling joy. And it's the desire for me to share and to experience connection and to join heart to heart. And the what I got really such a powerful image was the morphing of hearts, the morphing of the shapes, the morphing of the colors, and how that ties together in the idea and the concept and the actual experience of lighting the world with my joyful heart of light and love, which is Leo.
I would say that is so Leo. You just nailed it. It was like, that is perfect Leo. I also appreciate, because I know that if you have a Leo moon, my mom has a Leo moon. And so it's funny because like, I think that a lot of times like that's like kind of a hidden aspect. And so I feel like that's the part that like we don't always let take center stage, but it just sounds like that is such, because also your moon is like your internal world. So I feel like even though the outside world like kind of more sees your sun or your rising, it's like inside you're just like this big heart full of joy. And
It is.
and so it really, I feel like the message for you is like how to let that big heart full of joy, like how to let that inner part of you become part of the outer experience, like how to really just share that joy and share that magic with people, because that's why you're here. I could just feel that like lit up inside you. So like, I just love that.
That's why. Thank you so much. This has been so delightful. So thank you. Thank you.
That is my pleasure. Hold on. I'm going to just.
Okay. I'm going to unmute.
Okay.
I'm going to mute. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, no, I get so excited because I mean, like as a Leo, that's why it's so funny, because I told you I was this event, this beautiful event only happened today because I had technical difficulties on day 1 of my 3-day like writing challenge. And it was so funny because I was just like, the universe did this. The universe did this because it wanted to have this call. And it was so funny because especially me being a Leo, it's like I was like, oh, I feel like I was like, everyone does a Lionsgate call. Do I really, like I felt like what could I bring through that was so special? And then it really was just like play and creativity and realizing that that is the magic that people need. Like people have like they become so serious, and I mean, of course, like there's beauty to that as well, but I just really feel like when I look at like my favorite creators, like someone like J.K. Rowling or J.M. Barrie, who wrote like Peter Pan, just the imagination that they had. Oh, that moves my soul. And I wanted to share like kind of what, I thought about during these prompts. And oh, hold on, wait, I have one more hand. Before I share what I thought about, I'm gonna add you. Hold on. Hi. I got so excited. How are you? Okay.
Okay. So the first thing about the stars, I don't know, I was kind of thrown off by that a little bit. I was expecting you to say Bast first. And I was trying to like Bast was really cool. She had a really cool energy. She was so like I knew she was playful, but like she was so playful that it caught me off guard in a good way. Leading me through the temple. I just saw her like make me dance with her, like really shake and just and then like when you said to leave the temple and go to the river, like I was trying to say goodbye reverently, and she was just like, no, get out, go.
It's like, I'm going to see you again in like 2 minutes. There's going to be a goodbye at the river.
Yes. But the stars, that was lovely because, I was like, all right, fine, I'll just think about this. This wasn't what I thought we were gonna do, but I'll think about it. And then just really thinking about it, like what came through was one, the feeling of just being blessed and really re reveling, that's the word, in the moment, like with whoever you're with. Like it's such a joyful experience. Um, not even the stars themselves, but like you in the moment down here on Earth. Um, and then also like, you feel small, of course, looking up at such a big thing, but you also feel so loved like a child almost. Like
Mhm.
it almost makes you feel as if, like you're loved by something so grand as the universe, and it almost feels like it made the stars just for you. Which I mean, obviously there are things that live there and it's a whole big thing, but still from our perspective, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, no, I love that. That is so beautiful. No, I feel that too, because I think that a lot of times people look at the stars and they're like, oh, I feel so insignificant. But it's like when you realize that you are part of this great masterpiece of creation, like that's when you realize how special you actually are, that all of it really is there for you and you are there for it. And like, it's just like, I just feel like this great communion that we get to have with all of creation. So I love that. And there will be, don't, we're going even more deeply into the stars in the next meditation. That this was just a little taste. This was just a taste because it kind of wanted to come through. I was surprised too. I was like, the stars are in the next activation. It's like stars are like, we want to be in every activation today. So I love, especially on a day like the Lionsgate. But thank you for sharing. That was just so beautiful. I was just so wonderful. And I just also love that Bast was like in hardcore play mode with you. She's like, we're gonna dance. And I love that. I actually was gonna make the meditation longer. I had more stuff that originally I thought I was gonna share. And Bast energy was just like, no, this is play. It's simple. It's like, and I just, so that's kind of, I think one of the messages, just like that play, it is like the simplest joy. It is just like the simplest delight. So like, I just wanted to share that. And thank you for sharing your wisdom with everyone here too. Okay, beautiful. Let me remove the pin. Okay. So I want to move into Hathor. But before we do that, is there anyone else who wants to share? I can take one more, but if not, we'll move into Hathor. Okay, I think we're gonna move into Hathor. Okay, can we do the slides really quickly? 1 second. And these are goddesses that you could learn so much more about them. I just was like, I felt like we had to go like, these are the quick version. So Hathor, I love Hathor. Goddess of sacred sound, creativity, beauty, art, culture, civilization. I think did I write beauty twice? Clearly that was, I was very excited by beauty. And the sky. Some referred to her as the Egyptian Venus. And so she's also considered to Ra. So in ancient Egypt, the masculine principle was light. So, together Ra and Hathor made up space and light, or stars and sky. This was part of the sacred union behind all of creation. So when you look up at the sky and you see the stars, you don't just see stars, you see the vastness. You see the infinite reaches of the universe. That is that like feminine principle of the kind of nothingness or the void. That void, that mother womb, that really is the heart of creation itself. So that is one of the principal energies of Hathor. So even though like we really can experience her as this like, Egyptian Venus, and she brings through beauty and art and creativity, like when I say she brings through creativity, it's from this very cosmic place, very cosmic sense of creativity, of like first creation, original creation. And like I said, she is a goddess of sacred sound. And so I love this. So really in almost all of the ancient cultures, whether you're looking at the Hebrew tradition, the Hindu tradition, it's like the first moment of creation was an act of sacred sound. And from that sacred sound, the world was made. And so, really Hathor, that's why she is the goddess of sacred sound. And so here, like I said, Ra, that is her beloved. And so Ra really is this kind of sun deity, the solar deity, and really bringing the principle of light. He's really bringing the principle of light through. And in the ancient temples of Hathor, you would have actually the entire, like the rituals that the priests and priestesses would do in ancient Egypt. It was all about the flow of the sun through the sky from morning till dusk, when the stars like would come out at night. So really, just like the temples of Hathor, it was all about the light, and it was all about being that sacred feminine principle that held the magic of light. And I'm really sharing this with everyone here because this is the Lionsgate, and Leo is all about the light, all about the sun. So I think there might be one more slide for Hathor before we do our activation. Okay, yes. So I just want to share. So this image, if you've seen images of Hathor before, you recognize more of the cow ears. So this is how she's commonly seen by most people today. And so this is part of her association as a fertility goddess. However, the earliest depictions of Hathor actually really only show her with a golden halo-like crown of light around her forehead. And so this is again showing her connection to Ra and the light. So I really want you to consider the sky, the night sky with the stars, as a sacred union, a sacred marriage of sound and light. And really, like, Ra, being the masculine principle of light, Hathor being the feminine principle of space, and also the force which made all of creation possible. And so when we work with Hathor, we're working really with the fundamental principles of creation itself. And I can't overstate this enough, because when we look at all of these like early creation stories across all the different cultures, it is sound. And the way that it actually works, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the kind of Judeo-Christian tradition, where it's like on the fourth day, God created light. And it's like, well, what was before that? Before that was all the sound. In the beginning, there was the word. So really just, that's one thing I also wanted to bring through about Hathor. Hold on, we can actually stop the share for right now. So we're not really working with Hathor today as like a sound goddess, like the way that we could. But I'm telling you the special gift. Everyone who stays to the end, I have a special it's like a throat chakra activation with the goddess Hathor. So this is one of my most powerful activations I've ever created. And so if you stay to the end, my assistant's going to put that link in the chat. So you're going to have this amazing activation to go even more deeper, even more deeply. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Even more deeply into this kind of sacred sound magic with Hathor. Because for today's purposes, we're really connecting with her. We're really connecting with her as a goddess of creativity. And we're really making sure that this sacred time of the Lionsgate, this is a moment that we can really put our dreams, we can put our intentions really, out into the world, and we can pour them into the heavens. And really, the heavens are listening. Like what was just shared, it's like the stars are there. It's almost like they're there just for us. And we are there for each other. And this is the moment where we get to make wishes and have our dreams come true. And I actually did have a story that I was going to share briefly before we do the activation. I wanted to kind of circle back to what I was going to say about Bast and playfulness, because I'm going to tie it in to our next meditation. And so for me, when I was connecting with this energy of playfulness, what really came through was Peter Pan, because I love Peter Pan. And so I don't know how many of you were familiar with the movie Hook. I think it came out 1995. It was with Robin Williams. So it is one of my favorite movies. It might be my all-time favorite movie. But in this, Robin Williams plays the grown-up Peter Pan. And he has to go back to Neverland, to remember who he really is. And I feel like this is a metaphor for all of us to come back to the sacred remembrance of who we really are on a fundamental level. And so the reason I share that is because to get to Neverland, the directions are second star to the right and straight on until morning. So the stars, throughout the ages, they have been woven into all of the tales, all of the magic. Hold on, Bo, let's see if someone is right. Okay, I really need it. Okay, Bo, if you send me You have, Bo, I'm just going to say, you have written beautiful things in the chat. I'm going to send me an email, and I will send you the sound activation. So send me an email. I will give it to you. So anyway, let me continue here. So I just wanted to just share just kind of the magic, the wonder of the stars, because that wonder, that magic is really going to be like how we connect with Hathor in this final activation for today. So I just, because I really feel like that's the energy that's really wanting to come through. It's just this wonder and this magic. So I'm gonna like want you guys all to take a couple deep breaths and ground, because this is about to be a very celestial meditation. This last activation is really celestial. And also, before we go in, because it's going to be like, it is a bit of an intense activation, I invite you to like think of just something that you really are wanting to manifest, to create. Could be for the rest of 2023, or it could be like a bigger like life purpose. But really have kind of like an idea, because we are going to be working with the stars, working with Hathor and the stars to really bring in a blessing for this and really see this come to fruition. So I'm sure like you probably all have that. It should be the first thing that pops into your head. So now I invite you to just take a couple more deep breaths. Take a couple deep breaths and really feel yourself anchored here in this present moment. Feel your feet against the floor. And actually, because it's so celestial, I really invite you, as you're feeling your feet against the floor, to really see these beautiful roots pouring down to the center of the earth. And you can just see these roots shooting down to the center of the earth and wrapping around the crystalline core of Mother Earth. And we're really doing this to anchor all of the magic that we are doing here today. And into this sacred space of beautiful star magic, sky magic, we're also calling in Oset, Isis. We're calling Ra even more intensely into the space. We're calling in the Neteru. We're calling in Nuit, sky goddess. Be with us on this night. We call in the great magic of Venus. Venus, please be with us. We call upon the magic of Leo and the star Sirius. Really be with us as we do this sacred magical ritual to really bring upon a great blessing for everyone's creativity in the coming year. And so now I invite you to really, take another deep breath and feel yourself transported through time and space. And in this moment, you are transported to the stars. It's as if you are literally floating through the heavens. And all around you, the stars are glittering and radiant. It almost feels like you're swimming up here. It's like you're swimming through the darkness, through the twilight. And as you look around, you just see the iridescence of so many stars. And all of a sudden, the stars start to form a magnificent stairwell. They form magnificent stairwell, and then they form a beautiful sacred door. You take your first step at the base of this stairwell made of stars, and you look up to the doorway made of stars at the top. You know in your heart that you are meant to go up there. Even though it seems scary to walk up these steps made of just stars, when all around you is just vastness, when all around you is space, you know in your soul that there's something up there. There's something in that door that you are meant to see, that you are meant to experience. You walk up the stairs one by one, every stair resplendent. It almost looks like Cinderella's glass slipper. And you are just surrounded by darkness. And you walk to the very, very top of the stairs. In the distance, you see the planet Venus. You see Mars, you see Jupiter. You see all of these planets. It's as if each of them is calling to you. Each of them sees you. Each of them notices your presence. You take a deep breath and open this door made of stars. Behind it, you see the goddess Hathor, beaming, radiant. She is a goddess made entirely of stars. And yet, she also has beautiful cow-like ears. and eyes that look as if they have seen creation since the dawn of time, since the first moment of the first star, since the first moment there was life. That is what it's like to behold Hathor, goddess of creation. And just take a moment to really attune to the frequencies of Hathor. Really see her now, meet her in this space. She is delighted to see you. You just take a moment to marvel at this goddess who has walked through all the ages of knowing in the world, who has seen human beings at their dawn, and she has seen human beings through great ages of turmoil, great ages of bliss, great ages of love. And here in this moment, you say, Goddess Hathor, I have come. And today, place before the goddess the intention that you came here today. That thing that you are here to see manifest in the world, knowing that Hathor is the goddess of first creation, knowing the incredible power this goddess wields. More than that, as you stare into her eyes, as you feel her presence, as you feel all of the stars glimmering, shining all around you, you know yourself as fully divine, as fully powerful. Every moment that you are with Hathor, you are more and more sure of it. You feel your own divinity even more strongly. Hathor says, there is no limit to creation. Know yourself in this moment as part of this glorious creation. Realize that you are infinite, limitless. There is nothing you cannot do or be or have and create. The question is, where in your life are you still giving into the illusion of limitation? And as she asked that question, it seems to resound through the ether. And now I invite you to ask that question deep inside. Is there a place in your life where you're still giving into the illusion of limitation, into a place where you might think that you are small, that you are not divine? Open your heart to see where you're giving power to that illusion. And just let that come to you. And all of a sudden, Hathor meets you with the glorious embrace. She takes a few steps back and then says, know yourself here as an unlimited being. Here in this space, you have come home. You have come home to your truth as an unlimited creator. Know this on all levels of your being. And in this moment, Hathor raises her hands, and a golden white light pours from her hands, and she offers you a sacred attunement, alchemizing and transmuting all that is standing in your way of owning the truth of your magnificence. This is an activation to open you fully on all levels of your being to the magnificence of your soul. How does that word feel to you? The word magnificence. Open fully to know right now the magnificence of your being. And just really breathe that in. Take a couple deep breaths. And as you're feeling into that word, magnificence, as you're feeling into that energy, see the stars in the distance twinkling just for you. And see right now if the stars have any wisdom for you. Maybe you hear whispers on the wind. Maybe there is some special magic that comes through. Just see now if there is any sacred knowing, any sacred wisdom that is revealed to you by the stars. And if you don't hear anything, just take a moment to just really feel into your heart. Feel into your heart right now. Feel the expansiveness. Feel the expansiveness of being up here in the stars with the goddess Hathor. This moment, the goddess takes you by the hand, and the two of you walk through this great door made of stars, through this Lionsgate portal. And as you walk through this great doorway made of stars, you walk across a bridge of stars that forms before your eyes. Every step you take, the stars dance, forming another bridge before you. And in the distance, you see that Hathor is taking you to the great and glorious planet Venus. See the planet Venus there, this beautiful orange golden sphere. And there, standing on top of this planet, is a golden goddess. You know her. You know her without a second glance. This is the goddess Venus. And the two of you, Hathor and Venus, the two of them start to move closer to each other. You walk together, coming closer and closer, and the stars form a bridge between you, a ribbon of stars. And then you see Venus there, welcoming you. Really take a moment to open to seeing the goddess Venus. She is so radiant, this goddess of love and creativity and beauty. And really feel what it's like to be in the energy of the goddess Venus. It feels different than Hathor. But Venus has been working magic with you for the last few weeks in this Venus retrograde. Venus has had many great lessons for you so that you could step into the next version of yourself, the unlimited you that there is no limit to the person that you are stepping into. Know this. That is what Venus wishes you to know. And in this moment with the goddess Venus, take a second to see if Venus has any wisdom for you. And just open your heart, see if Venus has anything she wants to share. Beautiful. And now you look at these two goddesses who stand before you on this bridge of stars. Hathor to your right, Venus to your left. And these two goddesses form a circle around you, and they lock arms. They lock arms with you in the middle, and they raise their hands to the sky. And they ask you once more to call that vision, to call that intention that you brought into the sacred space, to call that here today. And in this moment, really feel that intention, that sacred intention in your heart. See the goddess Venus there before you. Feel Hathor there as well. The two goddesses raise their arms to the sky. And as you look in the distance, you see all of the planets, Mars, Neptune, Jupiter. And on each of these planets, you see that there is a divine being, and all of them are there, smiling at you, amplifying the blessing of this sacred day. And just really take a moment to feel into the power of the cosmos, the magnificence of being here in this sacred place. And really, these two goddesses are amplifying the power of your creativity. In this moment, really open your heart to your unique creativity. What makes your creativity unique in the world? What makes your creativity so special? And just take a moment to really honor what's so special about you, because you are an incredibly special being. There is something about you that is so unique, that is not like anyone else, not in this world, not in this galaxy, not in this universe. You are so special. Hathor and Venus have never beheld a creation quite like you. These planets, Jupiter, Mars, Neptune, they have never beheld a creation quite like you. And in this moment, really celebrate your unique soul essence and your unique creativity in this world. And let Hathor and Venus bring what makes you so special. Bring that sacred creativity to your mind and really go within. What is your unique creativity? Your unique magic that you bring to the world. Know this on all levels of your being. And take a minute, to just really feel this. And As you're here, in the distance, you see the mighty constellation Leo, all lit up. This is a great, beautiful, fiery constellation, the stars that make up the great lion. And here, feel yourself imbued with the energy of the lion, courage and valor, and receive a heart expansion now with the great energy of Leo. And as you feel your heart open and expand, see all of the stars in the sky shine even more brightly. Here in this space, we call in the magic of the stars. And as you look up at the stars, see this as creation's most beautiful masterpiece. See the stars as God's most beautiful painting. Look, and you see Cassiopeia. You see the Big Dipper. And you notice each individual star in the sky, a masterpiece in its own right. And you too are a masterpiece. And just really feel yourself here in this sacred moment. And now, Hathor breaks arms with the goddess Venus, and each of them has something for you. Venus hands you a mighty quill, and Hathor hands you a sacred scroll. What is this, you ask? This is a place for you to write your dreams and intentions. Take this quill, says Venus. Take this scroll, says Hathor. And on this space, write what you have come here today to create. Write your dreams, your hopes. Remember that here in this space, it is possible to wish upon a star and have those dreams come true. You take the quill and write your most sacred dreams onto this holy piece of paper. All of a sudden, a magic box appears, a golden box. Hathor takes the scroll where you've written your sacred dream, and she places it in the box. This box will be kept by the goddess Venus. Know that this dream of yours will be kept safe, treasured. Venus raises the box and lifts it up high to the sky. All of a sudden, this beautiful box that was once solid just a second ago, all of a sudden, it almost explodes like a shining star. And all the stardust surrounds you. And know that your dream is now part of the cosmos, part of the universe. That everywhere there is stardust, everywhere that there are stars, this dream is being made manifest. This dream is coming true. And here we call upon a mighty activation of your creativity, of your dream to come to fruition. We call upon the forces of creation itself. We call upon the magic of light, the magic of sound, the primal magic of space to help you shift into your most limitless self, to help you know your magnificence on all levels of your being. For these two things go hand in hand, owning your magnificence, your radiance, your limitlessness, and seeing your most cherished dreams become manifest in the world. These go hand in hand. Know that here in the sacred space, you have been blessed by the magic of the cosmos, that all of creation sees you. It is time to say goodbye to the goddess Venus and return with the goddess Hathor to that beautiful doorway made of stars. Hathor takes your hand and you walk over that bridge of stars, that ribbon of light, back to the door where you first began today's journey. At the door, Hathor says goodbye. Take this moment to really have a sacred final encounter with the goddess Hathor. See if she has any wisdom for you, any blessed wisdom for you. Beautiful. And now, walk through the door of stars, back to the stairs where you first began today's journey. You walk down the stairwell of stars, back to the night sky where you're floating once more in space. Feel the weightness, feel the weightlessness. Feel how light you feel. Most of all, feel your heart open and expand in the light of these glorious energies. And now there's a wave of beautiful light, a wash of color, and you feel yourself transported through time and space back to the room where you first began today's journey. And I invite you to rub your palms together, to move your feet against the floor, really just come back into the sacredness of this now moment, really ground yourself. And we're going to do one really quick writing prompt while you're still in this energy. This will just be 3 minutes, and then we will wrap up and close for today. So we can just bring up that writing prompt. That would be amazing. Beautiful. Okay. So this is really for you to go deeper. This prompt is called Limitless. Who are you expanding into? Who is the most limitless version of you? The version of you that has unlimited potential. This lioness energy of the sun in Leo is really about shining our light and being ourselves in the world. It's also a moment of looking at where we've dimmed our light or where we felt like we weren't enough. It's a moment to look at where we've been afraid to play full out and take center stage in our lives. So what would reclaiming that look like? How are you being called to shine this Lionsgate this year and become truly limitless? So if you want to just focus on those questions, the last one, like where are you being called to shine? Where are you being called to become truly limitless? You can just focus on that. But really what I want you to focus on is this energy of expansion. Who are you expanding into? Call that version of you into this now moment. Because these are the codes. This is what we're calling in for you now so that you can live your destiny and highest soul purpose. So I'm just going to give you 3 minutes and then we're going to come back and share. Okay, 1 more minute. Okay, I'm going to invite everyone to come back. I see, like, I know some people are writing they have to leave. I know brevity is not my strong suit. I'm sorry. Brevity is not my strong suit. So I want to just, I'm so glad for everyone who's here. People, like, I know a lot of people who have been here. Like, if you were here at least for like the first 90 minutes, I know who was here. Like, if you're watching the replay, just send me an email and I will make sure you get the Sacred Hathor throat chakra activation. So anyway, oh, Claudine, you're right. Brevity isn't your strong suit either. Yes, I know. I know some people are really good at it. I'm not. So anyway, sorry. Is there anyone who would like to share the experience they had in the meditation, or like what they wrote in the writing prompt about becoming limitless? I'm just really curious how that was for you. And if no one wants to share, it's okay. But I'm just like, for me, I just want to say that I felt that this entire day, there's something very, very powerful that wanted to come through for all of you. I don't really know what it is, but I can say that it's interesting. Like, I have done work with ancient Egypt before, but usually it's been kind of on my own. I've never really shared it before in this kind of more public forum. And it's interesting for me about, I would say, I think it was about a week and a half ago, I had this dream where I was, I graduated college like 10 years ago, but I had this dream that it was like my last day of college and I'm trying to like pack up my dorm room. I'm like, oh my God, I got to pack up my clothes and my books. And it was one of those dreams where you kind of forget that, wait, that was 10 years ago. And I had like a lot of family members, they're trying to help me. And I realize now that, because this was one of those dreams that was so vivid. It was like real. Like, it was so vivid. And I realize now those are my ancestors. They were like trying to help me pack up. And I realized that, like, for me, this was the movement from one era of my life to the next. That's what it felt like. For me, when I was leaving college, it was final. It was the end of one chapter of my life, and there was no returning. That, whatever was coming next, it was a brand new world. And so I'm sharing, this is kind of this is kind of what I experienced a couple of weeks ago. And so the last part of the dream, I went back to my dorm room by myself, and there was this Egyptian Sphinx cat that was almost ghost-like in appearance, and it showed up in my room, and I was like, oh, what is this? And it was so funny because in the dream, I was like kind of afraid of it because I was like, I immediately knew, I was like, this is like an ancient Egyptian cat. Like, what's it doing here? And I really feel that what it was doing now, I understand, is actually, it was bringing through some really ancient Egyptian coding, some really ancient Egyptian magic. Literally, this was like an otherworldly being. It looked like, to me, it looked ghost-like, but I realized it was just a being of the other world. And so really, I feel like that was part of my initiation to bring through the sacred codes and frequencies that, we're really here for all of you today. And for me, the codes that are really wanting to come through is this idea of you as limitless. Who are you shifting into? Who are you expanding into today on this 8/8 Lionsgate portal, but in your life? Because all of us, like, I always love this idea of the acorn that has to go and become the oak tree, because that's just the natural way of things. We never really finish growing. We never really finish expanding. And so I just really feel on a day like this, we just have so much galactic help and assistance. And we really call in our highest timeline because we are aligning with the most expanded version of ourselves. And the stars are really helping us bring that magic. So that's something that I really wanted to bring through for all of you today. I also wanted to share, I have a beautiful program that I am going to be sharing more about. If you want to hear more about it, I'm going to share about that in a second. But for all of you who are still here, Sydney, can you please put the link for the Hathor throw activation in the chat? I know everyone who is here, you have been troopers. Like, and so I want to make sure, so everyone here, if you have to go, please, here's the link to the Hathor throat chakra activation. This is epically powerful. If you like today's activation, this is an even deeper dive with the Goddess Hathor. And it is also with the magic of the stars, and it works with really activating your throat chakra, coming into the beauty of your voice and your unique soul expression. But it also, because it works with the stars, it's about like really shining your light, amplifying your magnificence. So that is a special gift for everyone here. My assistant should have just put the link in the chat. So if you're here, that is the special gift that I have for all of you. And if you want to hear a little bit more about this really exciting thing that I'm doing at the end of August, this is like a moment where I really feel like it's on my heart to share about this beautiful program. It's called Writer as Goddess. And so this is a program. There are two types of people that I'm really like holding in my heart, like I'm really calling you into this program. And so one is like the writers who have a big creative dream, a big creative vision. I'm really calling you in to be nourished under my wing, and also to really connect with the goddesses, like the way that we have done in, the 3-day sacred writing challenge. And today, by going on epic guided journeys and just really having just a lot of general like writing exercises and inspiration. But this is also for another kind of person. And Writer as Goddess is also for the kind of person that wants to transform through writing and through these sacred activations with the goddesses. So you don't actually have to be trying to write the next great novel. As long as you feel that there is a transformation that is possible for you through the magic of these goddesses and the magic of words, Writer as Goddess is for you. And so in Writer as Goddess, like every goddess that I have handpicked for this program, this is a 3-month journey. This is a place for you to really come into your magic and your divine embodiment. So we have actually in this program, there is a lot of activation with the Goddess Hathor, a lot of activation with the Goddess Bast, who you met today. There's also going to be Caradwin, Bridget, Saraswati, who we worked with in the Sacred Writing Challenge, and the 9 muses. I'm really, really excited to bring in the muses. I've never worked with them publicly before. And so it's just going to be a really powerful container for you to step into your magic. And I know that there are a lot of programs out there that say like, you are going to really step into your magic. But really, I think what makes me special is I feel that I am a real catalyst for transformation. And I know how to get people to their next level. And I know how to help people do that through writing, but also through these really powerful guided journeys. And so I am just really calling for the people who are looking to step into themselves as limitless creators, to step into this next version of their lives where you feel full of power and you see your dreams manifest in the world. So like I said, this is mostly like, yes, I'm calling in the writers, the screenwriters. I am calling in the people who really love writing and like really have a creative project on their heart. But I'm also calling in people who want to experience sacred transformation. And they think that working with the goddesses or working with me is actually a vehicle that would get them to that next level. So that's just something I wanted to share. I'm not sure if there's anything else, but I just want you to know that the door, I do have a cool thing. Okay, so the doors to Writer as Goddess are open. The program begins August 23rd. I actually just created a beautiful 6-month payment plan for people. So there's still, we're still on early bird. So the early bird special is open until the end of the Lionsgate on August 12th. So if you jump in now before the end of the Lionsgate, you will get the 6-month payment plan at the early bird price. Please, if this program calls you, don't wait. This has really come through. Like, I don't know how to, put this to words, but this is a soul transmission. This is something that the goddesses, they have brought, they have been really priming me energetically to bring this through for everyone. And it is for the writers to like help them like live their dreams, but it is also for the people that are ready to step into goddess-like creative powers, goddess-like creative confidence, that feeling of being their most limitless self in the world. And if you are curious about this program, if you think this might be for you, please book a discovery call with me. And if it's not the right fit for you, it's all good. But if there's a part of you that's curious, if you feel that I could be the catalyst in your next level transformation, please know that I am here. I am here for your transformation. And that's one thing I just want to put out there for you. And so I think that's all I'm going to say today, but I'm wishing all of you a magnificent, incredible Lionsgate. I hope you enjoyed today's activations. If you have any last thoughts, this is, I think, the last moment. It's like, speak now and forever hold your peace. Does anyone have anything else before I close out this sacred container that you would like to share about anything that you experienced today? If not, it's okay. Okay, beautiful. Oh,
I just had to say it's been someone else posted in the chat, so delightful. Thank you.
Thank you. Now that is really my goal. That's really one of my big goals, because I just feel like for me, like one of my shadow selves is like my serious self, you know? And so I just really feel that part of my mission here is to really help everyone remember their essential nature of joy and magic and play. Because it's just such an essential part of life. You know, I think that's part of what makes life worth living. So I'm so happy to have been here today with all of you. I'm so happy to all of you for sharing your Lionsgate with me. There were so many different activations you could have gone to, and you were here. So I'm just so grateful to all of you. And I'm just sending all of you so much gratitude, so much love. And you know, you'll see me, like I'll be sending emails over the next couple of weeks. But if you have any questions about Writer as Goddess, or if you want to book a discovery call with me, I love to talk with you guys. I love to go even more deeply with you. So I think that's it for today. Oh, I'm getting in Jennifer in the chat. Thank you for everything. Joyous Lionsgate. Oh, and happy birthday. Yes, thank you. My birthday. I know it's in 2 days. It's like, I'm so grateful to all of you for being here. I just want to say that last thing I'm going to say, I know I'm long-winded when I do these long sessions, but I'm also long-winded when I say goodbye. And I also want to just say that, like, you really, all of you brought the magic. That's what I want to say. Like, even though, yes, I know that like the goddesses are here, the goddesses are bringing the magic, and I'm the one, like, you know, being the guide, you guys, all of you really, really bring the magic. So I want you to just like take a moment, recognize how special, how magical you are. And I think that's the note I want to end on today. So it's been such a pleasure, such a joy to be here with all of you. And I will hopefully see some of you soon for Writer as Goddess, or if not for Writer as Goddess, I know I will do another activation sometime soon, and I will hopefully see you there. I'm sending you all so, so much love.